Alexa, volume 6. Mic check, mic check, mic check. Okay. That is not my streaming. I hope I really was not doing, at least I don't think I streamed. If I streamed, I don't remember it, but I was not feeling good end of last week, and I usually don't stream on the week, but I wasn't feeling that great over the weekend too. And yesterday wasn't much better. Yesterday, it wasn't like this every day that I wasn't feeling good. But yesterday I went from being, and the place was the same temperature. But I went from being hot, and then I went to being cold, and it was just coming and going like all freaking day. Okay, I want to give everybody an update on what's going on. And I already contacted and mentioned this to several elected leaders in Washington. And I reached out to Bernie Sanders. He's not my senator, but I know he works on this. And I told him, look, I'm not looking for you to do anything for me. Just, when you're negotiating, when you're working in this area, maybe see if you can do something to fix it for everybody. But I kind of told him, I go, I personally, and it's worse now. This is when I contacted him, I think, before my foot was broke. But I told him, I go, I have literally given like 10 times as much information to the federal government as I have to the state. And I'm already in some state programs. So it seems to me, they should have enough information to get this done. And I told him, I might have missed some stuff, but I told him, the avalanche of paperwork I have gotten, it's just ridiculous. And I told him, if I was healthier, I would be able to probably keep up with it. But if I was healthier, I could probably get a fucking job. That's my opinion on it. And I literally, and I can't remember exactly what day, but it was the end of it, unless I missed another week. That the last time I went in for my doctor's appointment, I was convinced that I had like another week. And then it was Tuesday or Wednesday, I got thinking about, I saw what date it was, and I'm like, I better check my appointments. And sure enough, I had to be there. If I wouldn't have caught it by Wednesday, I probably wouldn't have been able to get a ride to go down there, and I would have had to postpone it. But I lost an entire week because it was supposed to be 4 weeks until I went in. Now it's 6 weeks for my last appointment. And here's the thing. But I mentioned that. I'm like, look, if I was healthier, I'd probably have no problem keeping up with this paperwork. But if I was healthier, I could probably get a job doing paperwork, And so it ended up being like 3 letters from the same person working for Social Security. And and it was a thing that, and it was all dated the 15th and the 16th. And they basically made a comment. I might rate the president again, because he actually responded to me, and I think that's what caused this. Because I let him know what was going on, and then I got something back, and I didn't know for sure what he was talking about, but he goes, yeah, I forwarded your thing to the appropriate committee. Well, I then got a letter from Social Secret Service or Social Security, and they said they had been forwarded my account by the White House. I'm not making this up. I got something from them that they had been contacted from the executive branch. It might have been the White House, but it was basically because of Biden, and they were gonna expedite and look at my case. I have to, this is the thing though. When I contacted him, I told him, I go, hey, look, don't worry about me. I'm not sure I deserve it, but don't worry about me. And I've kind of told all of them, and I'm just being honest. It's like I'm reading this trust we got. And I'm not making this up. It says, and I'm not the one that said it. It's not like I'm the one that was trying to sneak my mom out of the house and meet with a lawyer somewhere. Not at the law office, but, somewhere private. My sister did that. And we wouldn't have even known that it was going on, but my mom told us. Sister didn't want us to know. Didn't want us there, didn't want us to know. And I had enough to do taking care of mom and taking care of stuff around here. That was like enough for me to worry about. And I was an idiot. I trusted my sister. That was my fuck up. And I gotta be honest with you. Like when her father-in-law died, her and my brother-in-law were running that estate, and I kept hearing my sister complain about. Well, it was the one brother-in-law, but it was pretty much the whole family was complaining about how. And because, Dale, my brother-in-law was technically in charge, but she was the one doing everything. And then every time they get mad at her, he'd come in, look, I'm in charge here. Well, yeah, you're not the one doing this shit. But she kept complaining about how like pretty much the whole family was up in arms, it sounded like. And I'm going by what she said, not what they said. And now with all the shit going on with this, I really wonder maybe they were doing some funny business with that estate too. I really don't know. But she's the one that met with the lawyer. She's the one that got this trust drawn up. And I am not making this up. There is language, and this might not be in the trust. This might be in the will authorizing the trust. But there's a short declaration that the trust is intended to keep me and my brother in the lifestyle we're accustomed to when our moms take care of us. And so that's in there. That would mean a house. That would mean a place to do a garden. That would mean a place to do these flowers. So it would have to be someplace similar to this. Someplace where we can just go out and get away from everything. Not some fucking armpit of an apartment. It would be, something similar to this. And then I'll get into the Dytalov pass. Just give me a minute. But then now this isn't a trust. It states that the minute my mom signed it, basically everything in the estate, the house, and they got it worded. I looked up what these words mean legally, and it basically meant the house and all the possessions in and on the property. They all went into this trust. So my sister had no right to give stuff away to her family, and this is the part that really pisses me off. She was fine. She took everything she wanted. Her kids took what they wanted. And, and the kids weren't even part of the will, and none of them are part of the trust. And when I mentioned it to the family, because my sister was running her fucking mouth on Facebook, and I hadn't done anything yet, and I let the whole family that was in that little group know what she was doing. And I let them know, I go, there was this china cabinet or mug cabinet or whatever you want to call it. I looked up stuff online, and that you could get somewhere between like $2,000 and $9,000 for something like that. I looked up. I gave the the rough dimensions of it, and the other things of it, and you could see examples of it where they were selling those for up to $9,000. And she just and the thing is, and I'm kind of glad my niece did get it, but it's like the way it was working. My sister was going to take it. She was going to take that up to her cabin. And what was funny is she was trying to push on us all these little knickknacks that, maybe are worth like $10 or $20. I mean, they're just not worth that much. And then when I told her, well, hey, I'm not going anywhere. I can't right now, so I'm going to keep that one tape. Well, then she threw a bitch. And then I'm like, well, and this is the thing. She lied. She absolutely lied about this. A couple days before the auction, she made a comment that her husband had the stupid idea to sell all the art equipment. and that he would bring his mower down from the cabin and mow the place. Well, there's nothing in there. There's language in the trust that she can deal with contractors and other stuff to get stuff done. There is nothing in there that grants her permission to self-deal from the trust. And I got a feeling that's one thing they're doing. They're probably paying themselves for coming here to mow the lawn and all this. Well, and my foot's broke, so I wouldn't be able to do it right now anyways. But normally I did that. But the thing is, I need a riding mower to do it. And she had said that he had the stupid idea to sell all of it. She wasn't doing it because she knew she'd be the one out here mowing it. And then and then the other thing was you know, I go, yeah, you got to keep one of the riding lawnmowers, the push mower, and the snowblower because we were still getting snow. Like I think they got a little bit of snow and rain the day of the auction. Oh, she sold all of that. She absolutely sold all of that. So there's nothing here for us to mow with, even if I was healthy and wanted to. And but there's language in there when you read it that they can't sell the house unless we abandon it, which explains why they were trying to get us to move out before December when we got the trust. Because it's language in there, you know, and this is, it's very vaguely written, and I firmly believe that lawyer, because he should have never drawn this up. As sick as my mom was, he just should have never done it. And I should have never trusted my sister. That was a mistake. And she's the last one of us kids that I would have thought would ever done something like that. I really think she's the last that would have done it. And but they wanted us to, you know, and I had told her, I go, hey, you know, I think I'll be out by this such and such time. And I think that was before we got the trust, definitely before I got a lawyer to look at it. And but the thing is, I thought I'd be on disability by then, and it ain't happening. It is just absolutely not happening. But I let her know, you know, hey, you know, we're gonna, you know, I told her, I go, hey, since I'm not moving out right away, and I'll try to find a room for it later. I go, I'm gonna keep that air compressor out because I go, I can use that to fill up the tires on the tractor and all the other stuff. And then I found out the day of the auction, she had lied to us. She's supposed to be trustee of the trust, and she's lying to us. They were going to sell all that stuff. You know, and like there was another thing. She wanted me to, when they were getting ready to do the auction, she wanted me to move my car out of the garage. And I told her flat out, I sort of knew what was coming. I mean, she thought she was being real slick, and I was starting to figure it out then. But I told her, I go, look, if they need me to move out so they can work, I go, I'll absolutely, I got the text for this. I go, I'll absolutely move out, but I go, the car's going in there every night. And then she flipped out, and then I don't remember if she came out or she sent me on this on the text, but she let me know, well, yeah, tomorrow when they come out, if you could just move out and let them work, you can absolutely park in there. And again, you know, fucking lying to me, because what happened was I pulled the car out and I made sure I left it in a place where they could get in and out by hand, but they wouldn't be able to pull a vehicle or a trailer in there without hitting my car. Well, then she wanted me to move the car, and what I did was I just moved it right into the garage. She told me they were going to put a trailer in there, and I'm like, what part of that text the other day were you too fucking stupid to understand when I told you I will be parking my car in there every night? Well, she flipped the fuck out. And she was real quiet because she didn't want them to hear it. Well, then I started talking to one of the guys from the auction place. And he goes, so you just want to be able to park in here tonight? I go, yeah. And I told him, I'm leaving my car in there. I go, I can't remember if I told him or her, but I took pictures of the car. If there's any damage, we'll just deal with it later. I'll let the insurance company get a hold of you. But I go, yeah, I made it pretty clear to her that, you know, I will be parking the car in here. I go, I don't know what part of that is not getting passed on to you guys. Well, the thing is, they had like 4, 5, 6 trailers. And it didn't look to me like any of them would fit in the garage. That one guy thought, oh, yeah, that'll get in there. I'm like, well, maybe one of the trailers is short enough, but all of them looked like they were too long to fit in there and shut the door. And there were 3 or 4 of them that were going to have to get parked outside anyway, so just leave them all outside. And, but yeah, so that was going on. Well, then there's another clause in there that states when we ask her for money, she has no discretion. She just has to hand it over as long as we're asking for stuff. And I'm not kidding you. It isn't just like groceries and clothes and stuff like that. We can travel with that money according to the trust on it. And this is the thing. I honestly think the guy should maybe be debarred for actually doing this as sick as my mom was. But I can tell you this, he wasn't writing this for my sister. Because, and Jesse, my brother did this the other day. He was talking to a friend from when he was in the nursing home. And he made a comment that he didn't think mom really knew what was going on when this, well, no, she didn't. Because what happened was they took her out of here one day. And she was not in good shape. How a lawyer could look at her, maybe she was having a real lucid moment, I doubt it. She went downhill pretty fast after July 5th when they did that scan, and actually they didn't know what it was. They suspected, but they didn't know. But they suspected it was something bad. That's when they found the lump of pancreatic cancer in her stomach. And she went downhill pretty fast. And they met once, and I think my oldest brother came down from the Green Bay area that one time. So I think I don't know, but I think he was involved in this, but I really don't know. I know my sister did most of the legwork. And then my sister met with the lawyer for like a week or 2. And my whole time, my mom was deteriorating. She was suffering. She wasn't in hospice. And this is the part that I really can't forgive. I didn't know any of this was going on. I thought there was a process, And what happened was, after she met with this lawyer and got everything worked out, well, then they dragged mom, and they damn near had to put her. She could not hardly walk. She was really struggling getting around. She left. She'd had a massive bout of diarrhea that morning. She was really in rough shape. And they took her in to sign everything. She was not aware of any of the bullshit in between, and this is the thing I don't think my sister fully understood. That was not her lawyer. That was my mom's lawyer. And going by what she has said, and going by what I am reading in that trust, it sounds like he went by what mom told him for the most part, and he drew up the trust. And I don't know if he didn't tell her because he figured out she was out to fucking pocket the money or what. But, and it could very well be because she did this to us. She did this when mom was still alive. You tell her something and it would go in one ear and out the other. And then she'd do, like, you tell her not to do something and then she'd do it again. And again, like when she was in here after she told us we had to pay the heating bill and the electrical, her and her family kept coming in and leaving doors and windows open to run up the fucking electrical bill and the heating bill. And I finally told her, I go, hey, if you guys are going to keep doing this, you guys are going to need to pay the fucking bills. Because we're not paying it if you're going to come in here and leave windows and doors open. Just not going to happen. And she's like, and then it sort of stopped, and I think she had quit having her kids come out. But I finally told her, I go, look, if we're going to be paying these bills, and you got to fucking do what we're telling you, we live here, we're paying the bills, stop leaving doors and windows open. We're not paying for you guys to be, you guys want to go do that in your house, you go the fuck into your house and do it, but we're not going to pay for that shit out here. And, and there's language in there that, like, if this place suddenly becomes unsafe for us, they can't sell it unless they provide us another place to live, which basically means the trust. And there isn't enough money in the trust right now to do it. So as far as I can tell, she's fucked. And because it gets to a point where they could put one of if need be for us, she should be forced to put this into like a reverse mortgage before she sells it out from under us. And and I don't want to, because I think I've gone over some before, but that's what's been going on with this trust. Well, then the thing today, and I got a hold of that company that's been helping me with my disability, because I got these 3 letters, and I got them filled out. I called the girl that's on there with her phone number, and they were supposed to be back. It was either the 24th or the 20th. Now, if it's next month, fair enough. But I think, because they said something like, well, normally you have 20 days, we want you to get this back as quick as possible. Well, they're all dated the 15th and the 16th, and they said the return date was like the 24th or the 26th. Unless it's next month, that's not 20 days. That's less than 10 business days. And like I said, I got them. I think it was the end of last week. It might have been Wednesday, but I think it was the end of last week when they came, either Thursday or Friday. And I wasn't feeling good, so I just set them aside because I didn't want to lose them. I didn't want to misplace anything. I didn't open them until today when I was feeling better. And I went through all the bullshit, and I called that number. I said, look, I literally just got these things. And I told her, I go, I am dealing with a broken ankle. I go, I'm dealing with those health issues. I go, I cannot just drop and fill out paperwork intelligently whenever you send this stuff. I go, I need some time. And I go, I'm having a pretty good day today. I go, I will do my best to get them all filled out today. And I go, if I can, I will get them in the mail either today or tomorrow for you. I go, that is literally the best I can do. And I go, I might not even be able to do that, but I go, hopefully today or tomorrow they will be in the mail coming back. But I go, I literally just got them. I go, I don't care what your dates are. I go, I am telling you when they arrived. And I got a hold of that company that's that's helping me, and I told them, I go, look, I don't know what's going on, but I go, I literally just got 2 things from the Social Security office. And they said they had to be back by the 24th or the 26th. They're dated 15/16. And I go, with what's going on with me, I go, there is no way, no physical way that I can get something today, even if it's a half a page and I got to check mark a box. I go, I cannot go through that today and get it out tomorrow. I go, there's just no way I can do that. Not when I'm having a bad day or a bad couple of days. And so I go, I'm going to get those filled out, and I go, hopefully either today or tomorrow I will have them back in the mail. And I go, I don't know what to say. I don't know if there's anything you can do, but I go, that is just ridiculous to have that quick of a turnaround on this. But I go, I'm getting it done today. I go, they're already late. But I go, the date on them was the 15th or 16th. I go, I did not even get them until well after the 20th. I go, it was almost the due date before I even got them. It was pretty close to the due date before they ever arrived. So I have no idea, but this is just another thing. I'm like, this is the part that gets me. It's like a catch-22. If you're not sick enough for the federal levels, like I said, I'm already on some state programs, and I'm pretty happy with that. But here's the thing. If you are not sick enough to deserve it, you can go through all these hoops, you can fill out your paperwork, and you can get your disability. But if you actually need it because you're having trouble, there's no way you can keep up with the fucking paperwork. This is ridiculous. And then I was getting kind of pissed because, most of this they've already had. And I'm like, all right, I'll fill out your paperwork bullshit. But they've already been told that I get lightheaded. They've already been told I have memory issues. They've already been told I drop stuff, not even heavy stuff. And And then they're asking these questions where I got to repeat it. It's like, look, you already know this. This is just not a shocker. It really isn't. And then there was another one where, it's like they ask you, well, how does your condition affect your daily activities? And then they had stuff like, and it was more like recreational stuff, like reading and stuff like that. And I put in there, I go, passing out, being lightheaded, memory issues, dropping stuff. I go, this affects pretty much almost every aspect of your life. And then they wanted to know, like, well, and these I thought were legitimate because I think they're trying to figure out how much help you actually need. Well, they wanted to know how, like, what's wrong with you has affected your, like, showering or cleaning up. And I told them, I go, well, I told them that, I pretty much shower on a stool now. I go, I don't stand up in the shower, and I have not taken a bath for 3, 4, 5 years because I was falling into the tub sometimes. So I started using a shower chair. But it's just like some of those questions just seem dumb as shit. It's like, look, I already told you that. And then they want to know, well, how does this affect you? And I'm like, it varies from day to day. Like, what's going on with me? Like, today I'm having a good day. Yesterday was shit. Yesterday was absolutely shit. All of this varies from day to day. And they sent me the 2 forms. One of them was on my health, and the other one was on housing. And I'm like, it's going to the same person. I'm like, well, why am I, again, wasted time? Why am I answering the same stuff on both of these? Why don't you send it in one form? And instead of filling out all these multiple answers to the same freaking question, you guys can process my shit and get this taken care of. That didn't make any sense to me at all. And then I did tell them, because there was one, I think it was the one on health. They gave you one of them gave you like a full. Actually, I think maybe both of them did. They gave you like a full page to go into anything that wasn't included in the form. And I told them, I was working for General Motors, and I told them because what I did was they wanted to know my work history, and so what I did is I broke down what I did at GM, like 98 to. This is what they put in there, and my official start date as a permanent hire was September of 2001, I think. But I worked as a temp the one summer, and that went back to 97 or 98 or something. So they had my start date there for them as 98. So I just left it, because I did work there. And they only wanted your work history for the last 20 years, so that's all I had to put down was GM. But I put down when I worked for them in Wisconsin. And then I put down when I worked for them in Indiana. And I put, like, the first year I was there, I was just another line rat like I was up here. And then I go, like, 2011-ish. And I put down, like, up here we were working 10-hour days. Down there, the first year I was there, just about we were working 10-hour days. And then the second year they went to 8-hour days. And I put that down. And but I let them know that from like 2011 until I got out of team leader group, I go, there was an issue going on where I go, I am pretty sure, I can't prove it, but I go, I am pretty sure that I got drugged or poisoned for being a whistleblower. And I put that on there. And I go, I reported it to the FBI, but I go, I am okay with the thought that maybe I did not give them enough information to work on. I go, I completely admit that. And but I go, I was reporting quality issues. And I go, they tried to fire me and it didn't work. And I go, soon after they tried to fire me, I go, my health started going bad. go, the first thing that happened was I lost my gallbladder. And then after that, I started having low chemical and mineral levels. And I ended up on 4 or 5 different meds because of the blood work. The blood work showed that my blood wasn't right. And so they basically gave me medication. They gave me prescriptions to fill them back up. And I go, and this went on, and it kept getting worse. And I go, then, like, right before I lost my job, I started having the problems that are my problem now, where I would pass out, I would get lightheaded, I'd have memory loss. And I go, and I still had all the other problems that I had the medication for. And I go, then what happened was, 6-8 months after I lost my job, I noticed I no longer needed those medications for the low levels. Didn't seem to need them anymore, but I still have the problems with my health where I'm passing out, I'm getting lightheaded, I'm blacking out, that kind of thing.
Not enough spirit.
And I go, they're with me. I go, there's just no getting around it. And they also wanted to know, like, well, do you drive? And I go, yeah, I drive, but I go, I gotta look for a good day. And I go, I really need someone to drive for me, unless it's something that can be canceled or postponed at like short notice. Like doctor's appointments, can't do it. I can't do the doctor's appointments. And because the day of the doctor's appointment, I might not be able to drive that day. Just might not be able to. Where the hell do they want me to go? The arrow's over here. And but I go, anything else, I go, that's another thing that, I just cancel it. Like, if I'm not feeling good, I don't do it that day. And I go, the thing was, I go, this was like the first incident, and I go, I reported them up like I was supposed to. And I go, they had a girl, she was a temp. I go, she was running around with a repair stand. And covering repairs. And I go, she was not allowed to have a repair stand. So it wasn't hers, it was somebody else's. And I go, she's also running around with a bypass key. I go, some of the defects, and I can't remember if I put this in it. Now, I'm trying to give her the cliff notes, not the detailed version of it. But I made the comment that, some of the stuff was put in electronically by, basically stuff that electronically caught the defects. Torque monitors, things like that. And I go, you need a bypass key. Usually, that wasn't what they're supposed to fix it. But usually what happened is the guy would come up, bypass it, fix it, buy it off in the computer. That's just the way it worked. And so you needed a key to release the defect, and then the machine would automatically put it in the computer for you. And I go, the group leader showed her how to hack into the computer to buy these up, because, and I can't remember if I told her this, but I go, group leaders don't even have the ability to buy these defects off. You can't, group leaders could not, maybe they can now, but back then they couldn't. Group leaders could not mark something as repaired. Had to be a bona fide union person doing it, and this way you didn't have ding-dong group leaders going around just marking everything as repaired and then sending somebody to fix it on the fly. We had to fix it first, and then mark it as repaired. And I go, and the upshot of this is, if we would have had a defect, and I go, I don't know. I go, I wrote a grievance to get all those vehicles she was in charge of checked, and I don't know that they actually did it, but I go, my zone guy at least did that much and wrote the grievance to get it fixed. And, but I go, if they would have had a case, like those ignition switches falling out of the vehicle, what would have happened, like that, I don't know what year it was, but they had, I think this was GM, I don't think it was somebody else, but they had, I think it was right after Mary Vera got in as CEO.
I must wait to use that ability.
And weight of the keys, and I think it was something like a spring or something. It was something stupid that got changed on it or something. And that's why this shit was happening. But the weight of the keys would pull the ignition cylinder right out of the vehicle, and it'd fall on the floor. And this was happening in some cases when people were driving down the road. And I go, if they had something like that going on, the investigation that would have been nationally watched would have led to a repair stamp by somebody that was not working in our area that day. And again, I had evidence all of this. I gave it to the alternate committee man. You're a good girl, Patches. I gave it to the alternate committee man. Well, it was his stamp she was using. So he made all that evidence disappear. That was just a beautiful thing. So you had management and union involved in this. And but I told him, I go, if they had investigated that over something major, it would have led to a repair stamp for a guy that was not even working in the department. He was not working on the floor. He was working as a committee man that night. He was covering the regular committee man when he was gone. And well, then what happened was, if they would have followed it into the computer, and I don't know for sure because I don't know whose login they were using that day, but it would have led to somebody that either wasn't working in the department that night or that area or that part of the line that night, or it would have led to somebody who maybe was there but did not have an idea what the problem was. They weren't the one that worked on it. And this is just not a good thing. This is literally just not a good thing. And that's what happened. And I go, well, they tried to fire me, and then I got sick. And and this is where I'm at now. This is exactly what's going on now. And they can either help me or they can't. But it just sucks to be in my position right now. So hopefully, I hope she does, because that was the thing. Said, well, if you don't get it back to us in time, we may decide the case without it. Well, again, they should have already had enough, because that company I was working with, they got a release to get all my medical information from Indiana. I gave them every place I was treated down there, so they should have ample information to base their case on. There was a tilt table test. There was all the medications I was on, the diagnosis. They should have all of that. And so I don't know. Anyways, enough of that. But yeah, and then I got 2 phone calls, and that was the thing I told her when I left the message. I go, look, I have a broken ankle right now, and I go, I cannot get to the phone whenever it rings. I go, so if anybody calls, I go, I can't reach the phone. So I go, it would be better if you sent me a text mail or a text or an email, and have me call you when you're free or whatever. But I go, if you call me, I go, there's just no physical way I can get to the phone in time if I'm not right there at the phone. And well, and I drop stuff, and with the memory issues, I don't generally carry the phone around with me. I just leave it on the charger where I sleep. And but yeah, so I talked to her, so I left her a message, and then I got a hold of that one company. I'm just like, what the fuck? And again, I get it. They deal with, probably thousands of people at a time. She's probably got an overlap of cases. But my God, this should just not be that hard. It really shouldn't. But, so anyways, well, then I got 2 phone calls. And I got some calls earlier this week. Well, they don't send me a text. They don't send me, and I have no idea, because I seriously doubt it. Once people find out, or I'll get it and won't be able to work. They won't want to keep me. But I've looked for some work at home jobs, because this is getting ridiculous for the government trying to get this shit done. And but they're just, because that was a question they had in the thing where they're like, well, what about your condition would make it impossible for you to work? I go, if I show up to work, I could pass out. I could fall and break something. Like I literally just did that going from the kitchen to the porch. I broke my ankle because I got lightheaded. I go, I don't know if I did pass out or I was getting ready to pass out, but I go, I was just, it was like a one-step thing. It was a foot drop, and I go, I passed out and broke my ankle. And the so I don't know. I literally don't know. But and then there was another question where they want to know like what if there was any equipment I was using. I put down that I was using a walker. Well, then they want to know if it was prescribed. And I go, no. I go, when I broke my ankle, they gave me crutches at the ER. But I go, I was falling so much trying to use the crutches that I got my mom's walker out, and I've been using that. Well, then they wanted to know, and I almost was a smart ass. I literally was almost a smart ass, but they wanted to know how often I used it, and I almost put whenever my levitation powers don't work. It's like, what the fuck? That really frustrated me today. That literally, like I said, I'm actually feeling halfway decent so far. But what fucking stupid fucking shit on those questionnaires they got. Oh my god. Well, anyways, and for anybody that's watching this later, if you stuck around this long, I really appreciate it. I have no idea how long I've been streaming, but I just needed to get that off my chest. Oh yeah, and then I got those 2 phone calls. Well, one of them I looked up earlier, and it was one of them didn't show up anything. That didn't come up as anything, so that's probably a junk call. And then another one that came up, Robo Killer had a couple different links on it, and then ones that came while I was eating lunch. One of them said it was somebody calling about. They sounded like scams because one of them I looked up, and they said, "Yeah, it's a call from so and so," and some of the calls said that he was there trying to sell you an extended warranty, and then there were other ones where they were trying to collect money, and they said this is registering as scam, so I blocked the phones. And then the other one, I got a call, and I go, yeah, somebody from this number called me, and I didn't recognize it, and she goes, well, yeah, we've been calling you trying to collect some money, and I go, okay, well, who do you work for? Well, we're calling to collect. I go, oh, no, just answer my questions. I go, who are you working for? And then they hung up. So it's like, yeah, and this is probably from some of these job search sites. I'm getting these scam callers. So I blocked, but the other one I didn't really check out other than because that one there came up as a legitimate warning. The other one didn't really have that much information on it.
I hope you haven't brought bad fortune on yourself, destroying.
God, I thought that was funny though. I go, no, yeah, but I go, yeah, but I go, you need to answer my question. Who do you work for? I go, who do I suppose? And then they hung up. Yeah, that's a scam call. That's a fucking scam call. Well, anyways, I was watching a thing. I don't know if he's starting to figure it out, but I'm the only one, you know, and this is money I don't really have to waste, but I'm paying for the cable bill, and I'm letting my brother watch it for free. That's been okay. Well, he does this shit, and I'm thinking he's back on the fucking dope again. I think he's back on pain pills. Because when he got home, he wasn't acting like this. And he was on pain pills before, and this was like this when I came home. My sister warned me about this. She goes, yeah, he gets violent. And I go, well, I know I'm in a weakened condition, but I go, if he gets violent, I go, it's going to end badly for one of us, and I'm really not that fucking worried. But he would get real violent, and he started to do it again. I think he's back on the fucking dope. And when he ended up in the emergency room, and they put him over in that nursing home, we got him off this stuff.
And the hunters will frequently circle overhead to keep watch on their
I tried
nests.
to tell his
Those who
nurse
intrude upon them
that
are most unwise.
he was on so much pain pills that he was like mainlining. There was a Facebook page. He signed me up for it. My sister just left right away. I stuck around to figure out what it was, and then I left. And what it was, it looked like it was a Facebook page designed to teach drug addicts how to get legal prescription drugs, how to game the system and get drugs you didn't need. And then it was telling you how to deal with the consequences. Like, you know, he was on so much pain meds that his intestines weren't working, so he wasn't pooping right. And so he was taking over the counter. Laxatives and stool softeners, and he's taking both. Take up for it. And he was starting to come to, and I kind of let the nurse know. And I told him when I wrote the hospital, I go, look, you can talk to the nurse. He's in pretty bad shape, but I go, he got violent. I go, he couldn't do too much about it because of how bad he's in, but I go, he got angry and violent. And I go, he's on this stuff. And I go, I don't really. Well, they basically took him off the pain meds. My sister told me she went. I quit going. He wanted to be thrown out of his room when I was telling him what was going on. And so I just quit going. I didn't deal with it anymore. Let somebody else deal with it.
I don't have enough spirit.
And when they got him over to the nursing home, they basically weren't giving him drugs. They, basically he had aspirin, he had ibuprofen, and that kind of stuff, but he wasn't on the pain meds. And when he got home, he had mentioned this. My sister told me this. I guess he had texted her, and he was working his ass off to get home. And he said he couldn't wait to get home so he could get back on the good drugs again. And she kind of told him, she goes, look, you're not going to just be able to get back on your drugs. You got a new regime. You're going to, basically going to have to do that. Well, I think he has slowly gotten back on drugs because it's affecting his mood. And here's the thing, and I'm not complaining. I'm really not. But for the most part, this is what we call the puzzle. I'm in here a lot, and because of my foot, I don't go outside right now. Otherwise, I'd be outside. I'd be doing the yard. I'd be mowing and stuff like that, and doing stuff around the yard. And I go, I can't do that right now. So if I'm not here or I'm not in the kitchen eating, and this is something I kind of told him because he used to, and I'm going to have to get on him again. And he would snack in there, and I told him, I go, hey, look, I go, if you want to eat, you eat in the kitchen. And I go, and don't worry about what I'm doing because I go, I actually clean.
I need spirit.
I go, you were the one that was sweeping crumbs off the table on the floor. I go, you're the one that fucking eats when you get crumbs on your shirt and stuff. You just sweep them onto the fucking couch. And I go, just don't do it. I go, you eat in the kitchen. And I go, if you don't have enough energy to go to the kitchen, I go, don't eat. I go, you'll lose some fucking weight and you'll feel better. And he's mostly done that, but the other day he was eating some fucking Cheetos in there. And he saw the look I gave him, so I don't think he'll do it again, but it's like, see, what he'll do is he'll make a mess in there. He won't fucking clean it. And then we're going to have ants or other insects because he's a filthy fucking pig and he won't clean up after himself. Well, it ain't very often. But every now and then I'll see something on the internet or I'll see something on the news or whatever that I find interesting, and you know what? I'll decide to tell him, And here's the thing. He shares so much fucking stupid, useless information. I don't give a fuck about it. And I politely listen to him. I do. I never lose my fucking temper. There's times where I tell him, hey, I'm just not having a good day. Maybe just tell me later, But I always listen to him. Well, what happens is every now and then, and this happened today, and he's done it before, and I've told him repeatedly, hey, you gotta grow up. You gotta grow up. I don't need this shit. You gotta knock it off. And he keeps it up and keeps it up. Today, I think it was because he was watching TV. No, my TV. TV I'm paying for. The TV's got no right to have. And he threw a fit, and I looked at him and go, Jess, I go, if you shut up, I go, I'm probably done with this part of the story now. And I go, I'm gonna fucking tell you. And I go, I told you before to grow up. Well, yeah, but and I looked at him and I don't think I've told him this before. And it just doesn't register. But I've told him before. Well, you do this shit to me all the time. You tell me about this. The stuff I'm talking about is at least important to the world. But he's always telling me about some fucking anime he's got or some other bullshit that he's doing. And you know what? You can do the same for me. I'm courteous and respectful to you. And I finally told him, I go, Jessica, I don't get this. I go, I'm paying for the TV. I go, I'm allowing you to watch it. And I go, that can change at any time. And I go, I really don't appreciate this shit. And then he went off a little bit more, and then I think it registered because then he started calling me. Because I told him, I go, you know, I let you watch my TV that I'm paying for. I go, that can change at any time. And I go, I've repeatedly told you to grow the fuck up and knock this shit off. And I go, I'm getting tired of doing it. I go, you need to fucking register. Because my thing is, if he wants to be on the pain meds, if he wants to be on the dope, that's fine. But he's got to fucking handle his bullshit. I'm not putting up with it so he can be fucking dope fiend number one in the fucking house. Okay, sorry about this. Hey, you know what I think I'm gonna do? I gotta go to the bathroom. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and stop the stream, and then I'll start it when I get back. So I apologize. I'll try, and if I don't forget, I'll rename this thing afterwards. But I'll start it. I got all the stupid shit out of the way, and I will restart the stream when I get back, and I'll talk about the Dytalov pay. Because I should be able to do it for a little bit. I'm starting to feel it now, but I'll see what I can do. Okay. I'll just put a thing in the comments. I'll just put a thing in the comments. Skip to about 1 hour if you want the Dytalov's pass thing. It was something my brother taped. This was the thing, and he actually, so far, he's been pretty good about this. He hasn't done everything that and I finally just told him the other day, I go, hey, look, because there was one day he was gone, and this shit happened before he went into the nursing home. He's got the fucking satellite box so fucked over. He's got it constantly, like now. He used to have it recording things like all fucking day long, all night. And then he'd go in there and like when the hard drive would get full, he'd try to remember to go in and delete stuff that he never watched. Well, then don't fucking record it. And I guess he did this to his wife. It's probably one of the many reasons she left his ass, because she did the same thing I'm doing, told him to knock the stupid shit off. And but when I started paying for it after Mom died, I told him, look, I'm paying for this, and I go, I will absolutely cut you off. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm going to tell you once or twice, and if you keep doing the stupid shit, you're going to lose your TV privileges. It's just that simple, And then and that was when I was, because he right after Mom died, he made some kind of a hard drive being, and I told him, I go, since before I even came home, when I was paying for it, when I was still working, I go, I told you to do stuff, and you didn't fucking listen. And I go, when I was taking care of Mom, when she was getting really sick in the last, since July of last year, October, I was watching more TV down here in like a week or two than I did for the entire rest of the time that I had been home. I was mostly upstairs or outside. And I told him, I go, you just didn't fucking listen. So I told him, I go, I will fix that hard drive when I get goddamn ready to. I go, I don't want to hear about it. Yeah, I know it's fucked up. I go, lightning fucked it up, fucked it up. But I told him, I go, the whole time you were gone, we didn't have any fucking. What would happen when he was home? He'd have the hard drive so full that you'd be trying to watch. Sometimes 2-3 times a day, the satellite would just crash. Violently, like loudly, it would crash, restart, and then there were times where you would use the remote and try to. I don't know about his TV, but it was one of the split satellites where one of them was feeding the living room and the other one was feeding my mom's bedroom. And you'd hit a button to tell it to do something, and what would happen is it'd be frozen. And if you actually hit the button thinking, it just did because it had to do with the radio frequency, it didn't catch it, so you hit it again. Well, pretty soon, like the 4 or 5 clicks you did would all hit at once. And I found out before he left, if you went in and deleted his timers and deleted stuff off the hard drive and freed up hard drive space, it would suddenly start working again. And he kept, I had told him that he's sitting there, it's probably the satellite. No, it's not the satellite. It's you. And then shortly after he got in the emergency room and they were moving him over to that nursing home for him to recover, my mom made the comment, she goes, she was having problems. So I'm guessing.
I need spirit.
I'm assuming she was having problems trying to watch it. She goes, why don't you go in and delete all that stuff he's got in there, the timers and the stuff on hard drive, anything you and me don't want to watch.
That ability is not
I can absolutely do that. So I went and did it, and we never had another problem the whole time. It was like a few weeks after he got back, the fucking hard drive broke. You turn it on anyway, hey, your hard drive's not working. You should call a service man. And he didn't say nothing because it happened like a week or two before Mom died, and he knew. So he didn't say too much, but it was either right before or right after Mom died. He made some comment to me, and I told him, I go, yeah, I don't see any need to fix this, because I go, you don't fucking listen. And then when I started paying for it, I told him, especially when I broke my foot, I go, look, you gotta understand. I go, if I was still watching mine upstairs, I wouldn't care as much. But I go, I can't get upstairs. And I go, I'm going to be down here watching this TV, so I go, you got to knock the bullshit off. I go, you don't record anything. I go, I'm going to record maybe some stuff, maybe not, but I go, you don't record a damn thing. I go, I don't want to hear, oh, well, you know, yeah, I'm recording in a couple of days. I'll go delete the stuff that I'm not watching. Blah, blah. I go, you don't record anything. And I told him, I go, you will lose your ability to watch this TV if you don't fucking, I'm not going to argue with you. I go, I'm not going to keep telling. He's actually, and I told him, I go, you know, you need to keep this in mind because I go, you're going to lose this just like you lost the internet. I go, I went over backwards to work with you on the internet. I go, you just didn't listen. You kept making excuses. You thought I was your fucking ex-wife. Or shit, they're still fucking married. You thought I was your fucking wife. And all this bullshit. And I go, I'm not doing it. I go, and at a certain point, I wasn't going to do it. You lost your ability to use the internet. And I go, you're going to lose your ability to use the TV. I go, I'm not going to keep arguing with you. I go, I'm not going to listen to your fucking excuses. I go, you don't record shit. Well, then what he did, he sets, instead of recording stuff, he sets up all these timers. So he's too fucking lazy to pick up the remote, which is right in front of his fucking face, and turning it. He's got all these timers set up. And another thing that I did, and this was again, this one day it crashed, and this was, I think, it might have been after my foot broke. But, because I was using the TV down here a lot more, I went to watch, I think it was lunchtime, I went to go watch TV in the kitchen when I was having lunch, and the damn TV rebooted. It hasn't done that since before he went into nursing home. And what I found was, the timer to shut the thing off for inactivity was like 8 hours. And, that's what it was. And I set it to 4, and I told him, I go, look, I go, I'm telling you, you better do it. I don't want to argue, and I go, I don't want to listen to your bullshit. I go, that timer's at 4 hours. I go, when this thing isn't being used for 4 hours, it'll shut itself off. And I go, if you're sleeping, good. I go, if you're watching TV, I go, when you see that timer alert come on, I go, you can just get off, you can just sit up, you can grab the remote, and you can delay it. But I go, that's where it better stay. Well, I started noticing, and it was affecting me probably more than him because, again, my foot's broke. I'm being a little cautious on what I do. I don't carry stuff. I got my hands full with the walker. So there were times I would go in the kitchen, and the TV would be shut off because breakfast time and lunchtime were 4 hours apart or more. And there were days I slept in. I didn't get up right at lunchtime. The cats got their lunch late because I overslept or I wasn't feeling like getting up. And there were a couple of those days it was closer, so I went in and grabbed his remote and I set it up, and then I just turned it over to the channel where I could watch what he had in the living room. It's a weird thing. You got to understand how Dish does stuff. And so I did that. And then I waited until I had calmed down a little bit because the stress and shit just didn't do me. So I waited until I could be, an adult about it. And I let her know, I go, hey, look, I'm not going to keep arguing with you. I go, I double checked the clock. I was away from the TV for well over 4 hours. And I go, it was still on. So I go, it looks like you changed the timer again. I go, I suggest you put that timer back where it is, or where it belongs. And I told him, I go, and if it isn't that, I go, it could very well be all these nonsense timers you have, where it's constantly, and because you're gone. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, you're not even here. And I go, you got all these timers flipping it from this show to this show. I go, you need to get rid of most of those timers. I go, try to get it down to like 5 timers. I go, if you want 5 timers to move your channel, I go, that's fine. But I go, you need to get rid of, he's got like over 50 fucking timers in there. Well, this is probably affecting it.
I need to go back.
And, because I told him, here's the deal. I go, I'm not going to bug you about it more. I don't really care. But I go, I'm watching this. I'm not going upstairs right now. And I go, when my foot's better, I'm probably not, because I don't want to fall on the stairs again. So I go, I'm probably going to just keep sleeping down here. I'm going to keep watching TV down here. I might go upstairs once in a while, but I go, for the most part, I'm probably done upstairs because of what happened. But I go, if I start having these problems where it wants to reset itself or it wants to freeze when I'm trying to change channels or whatever, I go, just understand, I go, you are going to lose your TV privileges. I go, it's that simple. I go, I'm not going to listen to your excuses of what you think it is. I know what the fuck it is. And I go, you're just going to lose your ability. And because that was the day he was bitching because we had to go pay the bill. And I told him, I go, look, we were going to do it the other day. I was feeling okay, but I don't like, right now, I don't like going places by myself with this foot. And I go, look, I go, you know, we were going to go the other day. And
I will free you.
You didn't want to go, so I tried to pay it another way. It didn't work. And I go, you know, I don't appreciate that. And again, it was acting like a fucking child again. I really don't appreciate this shit because I go, here's the simple thing. I go, if this thing gets disconnected, I go, I'm not paying a reconnection fee. I go, I can't really afford to pay the dish. And I go, I'm definitely not paying a reconnection fee. I go, I'm just not going to have dish anymore. That'll be the end of it. And I go, I'm pretty sure that's going to bother you a lot more than me. And then he got kind of quiet. Because I let him know, I go, you know, don't go putting this on me. We were going to go somewhere the other day, and, you know, you had sand in your vagina or whatever the hell else you have going on. And I go, I don't care, but I go, if we don't pay this and they disconnect it, if they don't give us that extra day or two to get our shit together and get over there and pay them, I go, I'm just going to let it go. I go, I am not going to re-up it. And I go, you're going to be without a TV. And I go, you can sit there. And I go, you can complain all you want, but I go, it's got to be because of you. I go, you're not doing what you can to make your life better. I go, you're doing all this stupid bullshit. And I go, I'm trying to go over there and get this taken care of. You want to be a dick about it. And he got kind of quiet. But again, he doesn't think about the broader things. He thinks it's just magically, no, it ain't going to magically get paid. The bills do. We got to go pay it. Or we got to shut up. I don't really care which. And, you know, we're going to lose it sooner or later anyways. But, I mean, you know, hey, it is what it is. But what he's done is there's certain things he wants to watch, or I don't even think he watches it. He just wants to tape it. It's like I had to give him shit the one day because I told him, and we're eating mostly off paper plates now, because I told him, I go, hey, I was starting to notice before I broke my foot, but after I broke my foot, it's like, you know, he's going out there and drinking out of coffee. He's not drinking fucking coffee. He's going out there drinking out of coffee cups, and he's out there, and I don't care if he eats 8 times a day or what, but he literally eats like 5-6 times a day, and he wonders why he's like a couple hundred pounds overweight. And I mean, you know, he could probably eat like he does and be Michael Phelps training for the Olympics, and he'd probably still be gaining fucking weight, even burning all those calories. He ain't burning any fucking calories. And but what happened was, I would go over there, and there were all these fucking dirty dishes, and I finally told him, I go, you know, we gotta start eating off paper plates. I go, I don't think we're not gonna keep doing this when I get better, but I go, I physically cannot I can't run the dishwasher like this. I go, I can't do the dishwasher every day, at least until my foot gets better. But I told him, I go, and I don't really know how to put it any other way, but see, he can't run the dishwasher. His fucking eyes are bad, and he's a lazy piece of shit, and he's fucking doing dialysis, you know, you name it. But I told him, I go, you seem to think it's some kind of an accomplishment to dirty as many fucking dishes as you can. And I go, we gotta stop. I go, even when I get better, I go, I'm not fucking doing this. You know, I go, you're dirtying more dishes by yourself than me and Mom did put together. And I go, there's no reason for you to be eating that much. So I go, we're going to have to get paper plates. You're going to have to get paper plates. And you're going to have to quit doing this shit. Well, that's really hell. And for the most part, we only have to run the dishwasher now when we got to wash the cat dishes. But it was just, and it's the same thing with the TV. It's like some kind of a sense of accomplishment that he's recording all this shit that he can't possibly watch. And he was doing it the one day where we got chicken or something like that, and there was no need. The chicken thing was small enough you could cook it in one setting, and it was just not that big of chicken. And the ones that are, we usually just cook it all anyways, and then have it as leftovers. And he was going to repack it all, and it was a waste of money because the money we were spending on the little sandwich bags, that was a waste of freezer bags. That's a waste of money. And he kept, I told him, look, I go, we're just going to put it in the freezer chest. We don't have to repackage this. He said, well, yeah, but and I go, yes. I go, I got to be honest with you. I go, if you've got the energy, I go, there are much more useful things you could do. I go, like, clean the fucking floor. I go clean the fucking carpet. I go, if you've got all this energy, do something that's useful. But he does all this shit so he can feel productive. Well, you're doing stupid shit. And you might feel productive, but you're not helping us out. You're not helping us out in the slightest. But what he has been doing since he can't record stuff, what he'll do is there's stuff that he wants to record. Again, most of it I don't think he watches. But he wants to record stuff so he can feel like he's accomplished something. And then what he does is and I actually appreciate it. I honestly appreciate it. He'll come up to me and he'll be like, hey, so-and-so's got this on. And there's been some stuff, I honestly don't know if I'm going to watch it, but if we get a day where the weather's bad and it ain't coming in, or if I get a day where there's nothing else on, I've actually watched some of that stuff. And what he does is he records it for me. Well, one of them was History's Greatest Mysteries on the Dytalov past. And what do we got? Ooh, Much Bigger Life Per Second. And so that's how I got this thing I ended up watching today, because it was on the Dytalov past. And And I kind of like that show because this has happened before where they are covering something and there's new things that I don't remember hearing before. And the thing is with my health and stuff, it could be that I heard them and I just don't remember it. That's entirely possible. But I was watching that today, and now some of it I had heard before. I've got the name wrong, but it's something like Katavetic winds or something like that. They're blizzard-like winds that happen in parts of Russia or something like that, not on the ocean. And there was speculation of that. And then avalanche was another one. Avalanche, because of the winds, was one. And they had all these theories. They had absolutely all these theories. And one of them that I don't remember hearing, there were like some local tribes people or something like that. I think I'd heard them mentioned before, but not in this detail. They were wondering if maybe they had killed the Dytalov's past people. And they said that they didn't treat women with respect. Women were not allowed in any way to visit holy sites, and where they were camping or hiking was one of their holy sites or sacred sites. And there's also gulags in here. Now that one I had heard before, and and what it was is pretty much every one of them got shot down one way or another. And but the stuff on those tribesmen, I had not heard that before. And the other thing was like the gulags, and I'd heard that talk before, but the thing they said was, well, no gulags reported any, because there were several of them within 10 miles of that area, but they said none of them reported anybody being gone. And the thing with that is, it's like, yeah, maybe somebody left, went out, did it, and went back. But the thing that I think supports the fact that it wasn't the gulags, they had provisions and they weren't taken. And those people in the gulags, my understanding is they were not treated very well. So I think they would have taken the provisions. I think they would have grabbed all that shit. And the other thing, now this one here I'd heard before. Back in the day, this is not like modern day, but back in the day, what they noticed was they took some samples. I don't know if it was clothing or tissue samples, but when it came back, there was like unusual radiation associated with it. And it's like, and so then when they were talking about that, I don't know if I remember that. That's not ringing a bell. And the thing is, to me, I don't want it to be like, 9/11, because there's some groups out there, architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth, that's one of them. Not the InfoWars shit, but actual scientists, people with like an engineering or a scientific background. What they found was that the group that explained how 9/11 happened, according to them, they basically had to throw out evidence, because there was evidence that made their explanation impossible, so they just threw it out. And that, to me, looked like some of the stuff with Dytalov passed, because he said, the radiation could have opened up a whole new, and they just basically ignored it and moved on. And despite his best effort, the chief investigator back in the day said that it was unexplained cosmic or energy or something like that, and just gave it a really weird answer and moved on. And so what happened was there was another one, and I don't really remember this. And the guy they had, I think he had a Russian accent. But the thing that he got talking about was there was a picture of some creature or something, and it's not entirely clear what it was. And he made the comment that whatever it was like 10 feet tall. And I can't argue with him. I wish he would explain what he used to base it on. I know, like, there was probably something in the picture that he knew exactly how big it was. Like, there was an episode of NCIS where somebody was taking, I think it was NCIS, they were taking pictures, either that or it was Bones Collector. And what happened was somebody put a dollar bill down by the body, and then it was either NCIS or Bones Collector, or it was both. But what happened was, by putting that dollar bill down there, they could use that to generate dimensions for everything else in that picture. Because they know how big a dollar bill was, and they could just multiply it or whatever and get whatever, like that. There was one episode of NCIS, and it was like first season, I think, even the first episode. And he was training this girl who was Secret Service how to help him work a crime scene. It was definitely first season, if not first episode. And he was telling her, well, you gotta take measurements of everything. And she made a comment, and he took a picture of took a picture that was on the cover of like one of these men's magazines, and he said, "Okay, what do you think of this?" And she goes, "Well, she's very attractive. I'm sure you're impressed." He goes, "Yeah, but," he goes, "is she 5'8" or 6'2"? is she a 36C or a 34B? And then it sunk in, and she goes, oh, I got it. That's why you take your measurements and that. And he said, yeah. And so I don't know how. I wish they would have commented on how he got to that point. I really wish they would have. But it made sense. It absolutely made sense. And but just everything they did. If you get a chance to watch that, like if they show it again, that was like. Might have been last. I think it was season 3, but he taped that for me, so I was able to watch that today, and I was actually really enjoying.
That ability is not yet recharged.
Really enjoying it, and they got a couple other ones. I know he told me, and I just don't remember. But there was one. I think this was from last season 4, but it was about Bruce Lee and Brandon Lee. Well, here's the thing. He's recorded some stuff. Now, this is not on a channel I watch, and I might be pronouncing the name wrong, but I think it's called Resolved or something like that. And what they do is they look at, like, that one comedian, Bob Saget. They took another look at his death. And they looked at all the facts that were available and all this other bullshit, and they basically go over the different rumors. And he was watching it the one day, and I actually found it interesting. I think I was eating in the kitchen, and he had it on in the living room, and I just basically turned so I could watch it. But then, and again, I'm not gonna watch it regularly, but see, every now and then he will. It's like what he did for Dytalov Pass. He'll see an ad coming up for a new show or a rerun that they're running, and he'll be like, "Hey, they're going to be doing this on this," and I usually tell him, "Look, I might not watch it, but why don't you record that? Because that might actually be one I want to watch." And there was one of them. It was on the guy that played the Joker in those Christian Nolan Batman Dark Knight Rises trilogy or whatever, Batman Begins. The Knight trilogy, and just in the commercial for that, I don't even think we were watching. I think it was just in the commercial. Is I was always, and again, I'm not blaming anybody. I might have misunderstood it. I might have absolutely misunderstood it. But I was always under the impression that he died like right after Batman, and right after he did the Joker on Batman. Well, he made it sound like some time had passed. And it's like, oh my God. You know, and it's like, that's useful information, you know. But, so yeah, again, I thought it was one of those, but God, I can't remember if it was the Bruce Lee or the Brandon Lee. There was one of them I sort of watched. And the other one, I don't think I watched the whole thing, but it was one of them I watched a good chunk of it, and I think it might have been the Bruce Lee one. But those ones there, I can actually see myself, and if I don't, it ain't no big deal. I'm not really recording a whole lot. For the most part, most of what I record on there is Skinwalker Ranch, some of the other stuff on the History Channel, because most of what I watch on TV is news and History Channel, or it's stuff I really don't care if it gets recorded. But he's actually been helping me out a little bit, where he'll keep an eye out for stuff, and then he'll record it. He'll set it up to record them, and you know, some of the stuff he might want to watch too. But again, he just likes to record stuff, and it's like it's helping me out. So it's like a win-win thing on that. But
The storm breaks.
was another thing in that questionnaire. They wanted to know, like what happens when you have your issues. I go, if I get lightheaded and either pass out or just go to sleep, I go, what ends up happening is, what can happen is I won't sleep that night. I sleep during the day, and then I'm up, and I go, it can take me a couple days, but I go, lately, when I pass out or have to take a nap in the afternoon, I go, I still sleep okay. I might get up a little early, but I go, I still go to sleep at night between 8 and 11, and because I think my condition is getting worse. You know, I'm gonna end the stream, and I'm just gonna. I gotta go get some ice on my foot. I think when I go outside, at least when I go out to the stores and shit, I'm still gonna put the boot on. Hi there, Patrick. Oh my God, you were just a pooping machine today, aren't you? This is the second time she's pooped in like 10 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and just call it a stream, because here's the thing, I gotta go put ice on this. They want me to start walking in my shoes, and last week I didn't even try it. And then over the weekend and this week I started putting shoes on, and it's really not. I mean, I need ice. I don't need a shitload of pain pills, but I definitely need ice. But that's managing, and I'm almost out. I got a couple more days left. And I don't think I'm gonna ask for any more, unless I can't sleep. If I'm having trouble sleeping, I might see if I can get some more. But for the most part, during the day, if I just, and I'm not even taking aspirin or ibuprofen really that much, but if I just ice it up, so for this week, it's been like 2 or 3 days. I think it started Sunday. And if I just ice it up, it's really not that bad. I'm happy. So I'm gonna go ice it up, getting cold while it's on. I don't know. I didn't stream much in the later. I don't think I streamed much last week at all. If I'm able, I will stream during the week this week. If not, I'll see you when I see you. But I hope everybody has a pretty good day. Peace out. Take care of yourself.